we made a little change here at FPF Studios for Y.N.W.A Alone. We brought in a uglier but smarter version of Terry Tam.
Also with bigger and more important body parts.
This is like the interracial bromance, huh?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is.
Whereas you and Terry is not.
That's a very good point.
Or you know Greek.
Well, Terry's like what I mean, you know.
Mo Kamalakos.
Speaking of property.
That's true. We were mistaken the door, by the way. Welcome to Y.N.W.A Alone as PC replacing Terry Tam.
Also, terrible name for a podcast about flag football. That's like calling a work group for battered women flag plus awesomeness.
Okay, fair enough. Y.N.W.A Alone piece subbing in today for this Div 5 podcast. Let's dive into the opening drive. Let's go to the first game here. Go ahead. This pass against TDs and Beers. 44-19 win. Alex Davis, 6 TDs, 3 INTs. Brad Evans, 2 TDs, 1 INT. Your boy, Y.N.W.A, 3 TDs. And Isaiah Lard, 2 TDs. Surprised by this beatdown?
Not really. TDs and Beer making a step up from Division 6 last season. Brad Evans is coming a long way at quarterback, but Division 5, the difference between Division 6 and Division 5 right now is pretty big. Also, to be honest, the Guerriers de l'Espace, they have a very talented group of players, very aggressive defenders. They tend to be all over the field. So when I see a stat line like 9 for 22 from Brad Evans, I attribute that a lot to the Space Warriors defense.
This past, they had 2 ugly losses, but now the defense looks much better. Smokescreen or legit?
I just talked about the defense.
I know,
not
but
smokescreen. I think it's legit.
More in depth, though.
More in depth? Well, again, I think there's a lot of talent. Antoine Barril is a very good flat defender. They have guys all over the field. Antoine Charlebois, not a name people know yet, but they will. And Alex David is more of an offensive guy, but he's one of the best coaching players in this league. I learned a lot of what I know in this league from him, so very little I know. I keep getting paid though, right? But that being said, like there are people who know the game very well and just can't teach it. He's one of those guys who you wouldn't even guess it necessarily by looking at him, but he just has a lot of knowledge and he's very, very good at conveying the message.
TD's Beers, do they need to figure out another weapon not name Isaiah Lard?
Yeah, and it's difficult because he's incredible, so it's tough to find someone else to rise to that.
He's the Will Smith of the team.
Because he gets jiggy with it?
No, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air
Got it.
episode, yes, okay,
Yes,
all right.
They need to find a Marcus Stokes, so to speak.
Yeah.
Another Fresh Prince reference.
No Carlton Banks.
No. They have Miles Kaler to be the Carlton Banks.
They do.
But and the thing is, I don't know who it is.
Antoine de la Gâteau.
Nice. We're dropping Fresh Prince references left, right, and center. Antoine de la Gâteau is the awesome reference made by GM for those who didn't hear it. They have a lot of the same kind of player. Like you look at, for example, the other guys who caught passes in this game, Miles Keeler, Brendan Keeler, and Joey Watson, are essentially slow white dudes.
Possession receivers.
Yes, let's call them possession receivers. They're good. They're all very good players, a lot of experience, but they don't have. Isaiah Lard is the only explosive talent that they have.
So he's an explosive player.
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Good game well played. Goats, 32-24 victory for a good game well played. Your boy Bosquet Baudin, 3 TDs, 1 INT.
I have a lot of boys, apparently.
Yeah, they are.
I don't keep them captive. That's
JP Omar, 4 TDs, 2 INTs. How big was this divisional win for a good game well played?
Absolutely huge. They're a team that's starting to gain some traction in recent weeks. I like it. Bosquet Baudin is a uniquely talented individual.
Very fast.
He had a 4.40 that he posted on the FPF wall once. We all teased him for it, but then we saw him run and it's like, no, this dude's for real. Honestly, I like the team. Maxime Giroux and Alexandre Noël, very good players, both sides of the ball. They're starting to get some traction. I think it's a huge win. And I think we'll see sort of two teams heading in opposite directions.
Okay, you see opposite directions. By week 11, do you think one of these teams will be higher up on the stands, or will this be the same right now as we serve?
Right now, who's up? Is it a good game well played, or is it? Excuse my ignorance. I don't follow this division as closely as Terry Tam.
Well, I thought you would be in this. You know, I mean, hey, you are a Div 5 quarterback as well.
Well, I think that you're using that term very loosely.
Div 6 quarterback that plays in Div 5?
And even Div 6 quarterback.
Div 3 talent as Div 5, Div 6 quarterback.
Yeah, fair enough.
How about that, though? But in terms of in this is a wild estimation here, these two teams are 1 game separated right now.
And Goats are 1 game ahead?
Good game well played is 1 game ahead.
So. In that case, I think good game well played. I think if, in fact, the gap will widen.
Okay.
Growing gap will prevail. 32-24. They win this game, and I think the gap will continue to grow.
A few weeks ago, many thought the Gators would have been the team to beat after they beat Tomahawk Nightmare. However, they lose to the DG Goons 20-13. Pendeza, 3 TDs, 198 yards passing. Rich Humes, 2 TDs, a mere 112 yards
He's kind of fast, right? Rich Hughes?
receiving. A mere. Yeah, he's pretty fast. But Steve Stander, though, not Steve Sanders from 90210. 9 for 28, 78
Dude,
yards.
I want to go on a binge. I just want to watch like 30 episodes.
You can watch it.
Do they have it on Netflix?
Maybe. 3 INTs for
Right.
Sander. Huge confidence booster for DG Goons, considering, again, they've been tying, losing close ones, and finally get a big win over a big team like the Gators.
Mm-hmm. For DG Goons, they have a very underrated receiver in Derek Fontana. Just very clutch plays. He's the guy that Pendenza goes to on big downs. Rich Humes, of course, being the explosive talent that he is. I like the team put together, and Pendenza's a guy who's grown a lot week after week by leaps and bounds. He's just getting better and better as a quarterback. I don't know if they'll be able to put up points to win high-scoring games. But in this kind of game, it always favors DG Goons.
Okay, well, let's look at the opposite. The Gators, are they in trouble? They
Yes.
had a big win against Tomahawk. They lose to X-Men, lose to DG Goons. Not impressive in those losses. I think they're in trouble going into the next third of the season.
I'm inclined to agree. The Gators, the season wins are easier to pick up at the beginning of the season than they are later on. I think they're heading in just the wrong direction right now. This is a game that they probably marked as a win on their schedule. So to see them lose the game the way they did, I think they can be in trouble. I mean, they're still 5-2, but if we look ahead, to
very
the schedule,
flawed 5-2 though.
yeah, and they play some tough teams coming up. Junkyard Dogs will give everyone a fight. Green Lantern Corps better than the incarnations that we've seen in the past, and Hot Boys Hotline, which is the most ridiculous name.
God.
They need a podcast called "You'll Never Walk Alone." But honestly, like there's 3 teams that are easy to underestimate. And I think there's 3 teams that are going to be stronger at the end of the season than they were starting the season.
All right, let's go with the last topic of the opening drive here. The undefeated teams. There's 2 left. Griffins 6-0, and Cougars are 4-0-2. Mm-hmm. They are undefeated because they have yet to lose a game.
They are not defeated. That's correct.
Who is the best undefeated team in your mind?
I'm going to go ahead and say the Griffons because that's how I pronounce it.
Well, Terry says Griffins, and I asked him what has the proper pronunciation. They go Griffins.
I know, but remember that I'm always right.
Okay.
Therefore, it's Griffons.
Okay. Reason why?
Reason why they just have a very deep talent pool. Alexander Papich is one of the best players in this division. Kevin Paul's the guy no one talks about, but he's just a very, very skilled and experienced player in this division. A guy who not many talked about coming in is a gentleman by the name of Connor O'Brien, putting up huge stats this season.
DB for Concordia.
He's a DB for Concordia. I didn't know that. I'm not as close to the tackle circuit as a lot of the other FPF analysts. So evidently, if you have CIS level talent in Division 5, you'll do well.
9 times out of 10, you will do well.
What happens the 10th time?
Illuminati.
Oops. No, there's no CIS talent.
If we go to the Geritron 3000 TV screen right now, we'll see the schedules left for both these teams here for Griffins and Cougars. More likely to remain undefeated in your mind. We'll look at both schedules of what is left for both teams. They both have a few games left. As Eagle, our producer, will get the schedule up finally, and we are.
Sorry.
Well, it was listed on our script. If you read the script, there, Eagle. Here we go. 4 games left, of course. This weekend, the Pack, Venom, good game, well played, and Le Vercheville for Griffins. I think the last 2 games are very tough. They can be 8-0 by week 9, week 10.
I don't necessarily see a loss. Good game, well played will give them a good game. It'll be well played. As for the last game against Le Vercheville, don't see a win in the books there. They're just not the kind of team that it'll take to beat them. Le Vercheville, in my opinion, benefiting from somewhat of an easy schedule. Mm-hmm. So we see a 5-1, but we see this a lot specifically in Division 5, teams having a weak schedule and then suffering as the league season goes on, and then first round out, they're right. That kind of team to me. So I don't see a loss if I had to bet that there would be a team that would remain undefeated, it would be Griffons.
Cougars, they have Tomahawk Nightmare, tough team. Jays, very sneaky good when they're on their game. Old Guns, they're old, but they have some bullets in their guns. Yeah, they are.
Like Rayan's like 100.
But Ray's like Darrell Rivas out there.
Oh my God!
If Darrell Rivas was an old man
Pakistani,
who couldn't cover people,
the
then yes.
Pakistani, Darrell Rivas. And Blackstreet.
He's a Hall of Famer after all.
Yes, he is.
Sorry.
And the Blackstreet's led by the fighting
he's
Seth
a Hall of
Galino.
Famer.
Cougars have a tougher schedule. I think the probability of them having a loss.
They're losing this week to Tomahawk Nightmare.
Oh, my.
It'll be a nightmare matchup for him.
Okay, fair enough. And we talked about you liking Pap this year, but who would be the better the QB of the year candidate? Pap is right now 21 TDs on 94 passing attempts, whereas Arminio Idaluca 28 TDs on 144 passing attempts.
Arminio's my boy, and it's interesting because I don't think either are pure quarterbacks.
System quarterbacks?
No, not system. They're very good athletes, and they're learning the position, and they're getting away with the fact that they just know the game really well, and they have a lot of athleticism, but they're not like trained quarterbacks per se. They're not guys who've played. They have a ton of experience at let's say as tackle quarterbacks in the past and so on. I always say Arminio he's the NFL Films player. He was the first FPF star. Like there's black and white footage of him. I'm sure somewhere.
VHS.
On someone's grainy VHS. I think honestly, to me, he's the most impressive. It's a very cohesive team. They have some sneaky talent as well. I'm going to go ahead and say, in my opinion, it's Arminio Idaluca. You look very distracted, by the way.
I am.
You look like when I'm trying to speak to GM after his fourth beer.
I know. Andel Thomas Gordon. He's tweeting at that pretty boy. What the hell are we talking about you now? We're talking about PZ.
Yeah, but I'm asking a question courtesy of Andel. He wanted me to ask for him today.
That is top seasons
What
have
about
a
Andel?
Top season.
Seasons have to make a deep run in the playoffs. We'll have our full team from now on. Just watch. Okay,
Too
fine.
bad we don't have like a cross-divisional game where top season play John Gee.
Oh God, dude. Oh man. Quickly here.
But that's okay.
Quickly here. More likely to make the finals in your mind.
Between who and who?
Griffin is.
Oh, I thought we were addressing that question. So
Oh,
we
no.
don't do that on your show.
We'll answer the question.
We don't deal with the public.
We will deal with the public soon. Meetings will be dealt with.
So
very shortly.
most likely to
Make the final.
Griffons.
Okay.
They're just a very strong roster.
All right, well, coming up next, we'll answer your questions here on You'll Never Walk Alone with PZ and Mocha. You can tweet at
I
us.
feel less lonely
I know you do. Your handle is,
at PSFPF.
of course, Eagle FPF. At Flag Plus, of course, Mocha19. Stay tuned. You Never Walk Alone. The Bromance Interracial Edition. Calling the Audible has been brought to you by the English Montreal School Board's DEAL program. Distance education for all learners will allow you to obtain your high school diploma or prerequisites for CEGEP or vocational studies from the comfort of your own home. It's never too late to go back to school. Learn anywhere at your own pace and get your diploma. Call 514-788-5937 for information or visit www.distanted.ca for more details.
Easy on the count.
Long and impressive. That is the term for today's episode of You'll Never Walk Alone. PZ at a
Now we know why.
PZFPF. Yes, we know why. That's what I learned today. PZ, Mocon, at Mocon19, Eagle FPF, of course, here in lovely central downtown northern eastern Laval.
Pacific.
Well, Pacific's on the left.
Mountain
We'll go into this division here, and this is definitely the best out of the bunch for Division 5 this year. How scary good is Conference A, the East Division? 5 teams separated by 2 points. Toughest schedules. We talked about the Cougars and Jays. They have a tough schedule. Looking at the standings right now, how many
Awesome.
wins?
We can see the standings right now. Eagle, you're off your game today.
We
You
are
were like top citizens without their full roster.
Well, we are at the right standings right
Well,
now.
no, you had the spreadsheet.
No, we're looking at the current standings for
Conference A
East.
Oh, for the East specifically.
Yes.
I wasn't listening to you, Mokan.
How many wins to win this division? Given that 5-1 is tied at first with Spinks and Old Guns, Cougars at 4-0-2, Blackshirts at 4-2, along with Jays at 4-2.
I think it's going to take 8 wins. So there's going to be an 8-2
But
team taking it.
a lot of these teams are going to play each other, so they're going to cancel each other out.
Absolutely. I think Sphinx is the team to run away with this division, though.
You really think so?
Yeah.
Really?
I think Cougars will have a couple of losses coming up, and I don't see Black Shirts keeping it up. Jays, like you said, are sneaky good, but they don't have the firepower, I think, to keep up with some of these teams.
So you're going to force Sphinx and the Old Guns another loss, and they'll go 8-2 then.
Yes.
I think it's going to be 7.
7?
Yeah. Because
possible.
Old Guns have been close. They've had some close games. Sphinx has played up and down. They had an easy schedule, though.
Mm-hmm.
Jays, on the other hand, I just think that, look, they're sneaking good. They might be a wild
Is
card.
Hyman Wong a playoff quarterback anyway, though?
He's the Chad Pennington of FPF.
Champagne?
Chad Pennington.
Oh, Chad.
He's the champagne of
I thought you said
FPF.
champagne. I was like,
The sparkling wine.
sparkling wine.
Black shirts, I just think that there's too inconsistent for my liking here. So I think 7 could be enough to win this division.
Very possible. I'm going to go ahead and say 8 just because there are teams there that can do it. You have 3 teams that have 2 losses between them. So it could happen. It is likely.
Does this division have the best defense in Div 5 in the Sphinx and the best offense in the Cougars?
I'm going to go ahead and say yes on Sphinx. Although Gryphons would give them a run for their money on defense. And as for the Cougars offense, they work so well together. But I can't take that away from Tom Knocknight. Right?
I think the Sphinx have a phenomenal defense. When they played Maximum Carnage not too long ago at Hebert, they were down, I think, like 15-6, and their defense won in the game. Mm-hmm. And I think they have an opportunity to make that run where the defense can probably win them a game or two. It was a close, like I'm saying, like a 9-point deficit, whatever it is, and they come back with a pick 6 and get momentum on their side. So
Carnage mismanaged that game, though.
they definitely did. No, I agree.
Eagle says because he doesn't have a mic. It's
'cause-
repeated. Carnage does mismanage that game.
Yes, with their quarterback who's currently there. I think the Sphinx have a better defense right now. I think that's what could carry them as opposed to the Cougars' offense and how they are.
Fair.
Would it surprise you, though, that no one from this division makes it to the finals?
No, that would not surprise me. Just because there's a lot of talent in Conference A, and it's such a big Division 5. So a lot of teams could come up and take it. A team like Golden Flashes isn't getting a lot of press. They can sneak in. Topsis isn't. Look, if Andel's right and they get their whole team right, that's another team that can sneak up. So I wouldn't be. I think it's likely that one of these teams will make it. I am a huge Sphinx fan. I have been for a long time. They're one of the first dynasties in and in the low divisions of FPF.
They're also one of the first teams to go 10-0 and lose out.
Yeah, and they're also, Jim pointed out, they were one of the first teams to checkmate and go 10-0 and lose the first playoff game.
Besides the Jokers, but no one will remember that game.
No one
That
does.
team at home.
Of course. The best 3-loss team. Let's talk about that right now. Who was the best 3-loss team in Conference A Central Division? You look at the Geratron 3000, and we have that loaded up right now. TDs and Beers, 4-3. You have Max Carnage at 3-3. Sticky Hands, 3-3. Junkyard Dogs, 3-3. And the U at 3-3.
The U are a very good team. They're getting it figured out right now. But honestly, they're very good. Very, like, they're too predictable on defense, and they don't really understand what to do on offense.
Concepts.
Yeah, the concepts are weak, but their team, give them another season or two, and they'll be the cream of the crop. I like Sticky Hands a lot. I think it's a very good team. They're being led by Francois Etier at quarterback. Quarterback with a lot of experience in this league. I see them as being one of those top teams. I'm going to go ahead and say Sticky Hands in that group.
Out of this bunch right now, I think Max Carnage definitely, as Eagle made the point like 2 minutes ago, too unpredictable. They're too frenetic. They just don't put it together when it's mattered. Like, they were playing Venom. Venom had a lead on this team. Mm-hmm. Eventually, Max Carnage won. So I don't trust them enough to say, yeah, they're going to be the best.
Trust, really.
It really is. No, when it comes down to Sticky Hands, I've seen them play a few times. Their defense is sneaky good. I wonder, though, with Etier as a quarterback, can he, like, he's made throws, but then he's made some weird throws, and this doesn't get into rhythm.
I think the defense is good enough to keep them in games.
Yeah.
They've not been there every game, but I think when the defense shows up, they can let Etier get away with a weird throw or two. I think overall he's a very good talented quarterback.
Junkyard Dogs, I like him a lot. I really do.
Agreed.
They is not to use as a pun with the term Junkyard Dogs, but they're blue collar out there. They just go out there and do what needs to be done. I think they could be the best out of the 3-loss teams right now.
Jacob Burnett is a gifted talented player.
He has no reason to play in Div 5, though.
Fair, but he fits the cap. They're not
I
doing
know.
anything wrong.
J-Flow playing before they released him.
Yeah,
it's
well,
true.
they couldn't field them both though. The thing is that honestly, like I like Junkyard Dogs. I think they're just one weapon short personally. That's why I didn't choose them. Otherwise, they were sort of leading the picture for me, and then I went away from them because they're missing that second piece.
We'll see what Rossi does moving forward. But you see, for T's and Bears losing that game in the we had like 3 Div 5 games last weekend. That could haunt them because now they're one up on everyone else, half a game up on everyone else. If everyone wins in that division, we have like a crazy 3 or 4 way tie for first place.
Yeah,
that's not good. Not good for business. How about that? Come up next, we'll talk about fact or fiction. Fact is, PZ's doing a fantastic job. Fiction, Brent Calendar needs to get new pants.
but he does need new pants though. It's also
I'm
fact.
trying to make him feel nice about himself.
Thanks, Mo.
Stay here. Stay tuned. You'll Never Walk Alone with Peasy, Mocon, and everyone else who's here in studio with us. Stay tuned. Calling the Audible has been brought to you by the English Montreal School Board's DEAL program. Distance education for all learners will allow you to obtain your high school diploma or prerequisites for CEGEP or vocational studies from the comfort of your own home. It's never too late to go back to school. Learn anywhere at your own pace and get your diploma. Call 514-788-5937 for information or visit www.distanted.ca for more details. Welcome back to You'll Never Walk Alone as we are back on air.
Surprise!
Let's dive into fact or fiction here. We'll go with the first
Well,
question.
fact or fiction? Was Brett call it the calendar talking to a new girl?
I say fiction.
Fiction?
Yeah.
He was talking to his left hand.
Maybe.
Perhaps.
Let's dive right into it. Fact or fiction? First question for you, Peasy. Dope Boys are on a 3-game winning streak. Are they a legit contender at 4-2?
Well, let's just be serious. One of those games was against Illuminati. No, in all honesty, Dope Boys are a very good group, very talented bunch.
Dope Boys are in the building.
I don't know if they're going to be a top contender this season, but I think the only issue they have is they just have too many guys on their team. If they were to restrict it to their best 8 players, they would be one of the best teams in the
I
league.
swear to God, the roster's like 20 guys plus like a
least.
trainer and like coach. It's crazy.
And like a monkey. They have like a monkey, dude.
I don't know what they have.
Monkeys are awesome.
Fact or fiction? Will there be 5 QBs in Div 5 to pass for more than 40 TDs for the season? Right now, I believe the top 4 are in the high 20s with 3 games left. Can we see 5 of them reach 40 plus?
I say
You have to answer in fact or
Question and say
fiction.
fact or
Fact or
fiction.
fiction?
I know.
Mo
I'm
asked
just-
you a question, but you have to answer fact or fiction. Just answer fact or fiction. That's the segment.
fiction. They will not be 5.
We
Okay.
understand that by saying fiction.
Fiction.
I know.
All right.
You going fiction?
Yeah, we're gonna fiction that one. I think there'll be like 2 or 3.
2 or 3 tops?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fact or fiction? Is Isaiah Lard the best receiver in Div 5?
You can't ask a question.
It is. Your question is fiction. I think Jacob Burnett you'll give him a run for his money. I think there's too many guys to make that claim. He is definitely a top 3 guy. I'm gonna go ahead and say that with along with Jacob Burnett and someone who I'm not remembering at this moment.
Connor O'Brien?
Yeah, O'Brien's up there, and there was that dude from the Sphinx that I like too.
Matthew Fafar?
Matthew
He's
Fafar.
a center, though.
So
That's why he's got your vote.
he's still awesome.
No, that's why.
Absolutely, snappers always get my vote. I'm gonna say he's up in the top 3 or 4. So fiction, I think.
Okay, fair enough. 5 alive picks. You ready for this?
I don't know what that means. So yes,
We have 5
I'm
games.
terrified. 5 games.
5 games. With point spreads, actually.
Okay.
More
ready?
con point spread system.
Which actually works out pretty well. It's pretty close to the final scores, you know, I'd say. First game, X-Men Les Refs. 3.5 points for Les Refs.
I'm
Fiction.
gonna say fiction. I'm gonna take the points in this one. I think X-Men might even win it outright.
Okay, fair enough. Top seasons
Top season.
against Golden Flashes. I hope they're listening right now. No, Andel is. 4.5 points for the Flashes.
I say Golden Flashes cover. I think they cover pretty easily. I think a late mistake by Top Season will lead the Golden Flashes to victory. And give Yannick Dawson an extra possession. He's a kind of quarterback that will make a mistake. So if you give him an extra possession, he'll be able to punch it in.
Jays Black Shirts, 5.5 points for the Black Shirts.
5.5 points for Black Shirts. I say Jays win this outright.
Oh, okay.
I'm picking underdogs this week. I'm not cautious like Terry Tam. I throw caution to the wind. If Terry Tam was him here, I'd throw him to the wind.
Green Line and Corpse, DG Goons, 2.5 points for GLC.
GLC with the two. That's a tough one. I think.
Goons just beat the Gators.
Yeah.
DG Goons.
Yeah. I don't know. Because I expect this to be a low-scoring game, I'm going to go ahead and say DG Goons because it relates to something else I said, and it makes me sound consistent.
Dope Boys St. Luke's. Dope Boys St. Luke's, 6.5 points for Dope Boys.
Dope Boys by more.
Wow.
Just very talented group of players. The St. Luke's are good. They're figuring it out. They're just not very good.
Needs to figure out who the quarterback is.
That was as polite as I get.
Quickly here, looking at the Juratron 3000 for the current playoffs right now as we speak. In Conference A, Golden Flashers the 1, Spinks 2, Tees and Beers in the 3 spot, Old Guns 4 spot, Cougars in the 5, Jays 6, Blackshirts 7, the Refs 8, Junkyard Dogs 9, Max Carnes 10, Sticky Hands 11, and Top Citizens. Apparently, they're a really good team. They're in 12th spot right now.
Ooh, Andel.
Well, Andel, maybe Andel's not great
Andel.
with math and doesn't realize that 12 is not greater than 1.
Maybe. In your mind right now, do you? Well, we're going to see changes, obviously, but do you see any of these teams falling out of this 12 that they're in right now, not conference?
I think there's going to be a lot of movement in Conference A between the spots. Until Top Citizen is ready to show me something and show that they're able to be consistent, I'll say if anyone falls out, it's them. I think Sticky Hands will move up. I think Max Carnage will stay about there, and Junkyard Dogs and Le Ref might fall down as may Black Shirts. But I think these are pretty much the playoff teams in Conference A.
All right, Conference B, Griffins 1, Gators 2, Tomahawk number 3, Good Game Well Played, number 4. LVF, number 5, Goat 6, GMC, Green Lantern Corps, you put?
Thanks, Campana.
Green Lantern Corps, number 7.
To be honest, they are pretty mannish.
They are. Dopes 8, DG number 9, Freedom Boys number 10, Keyport Lock at number 11, and Fans of the Cougars, FOTC, at number 12. Same thing.
Will they eventually run out of acronyms for FOTC?
Maybe. In your mind right now, do you see anyone moving up and down, or do you see anyone falling out of that picture?
I think we them boys may fall out. DG Goons need to play their type of game to be able to win. I don't know if they'll have that opportunity. Fans of the Cougars, I'm surprised they're not playing better than they are, so I can see them moving up. Keyport Lock just looked terribly inconsistent from one week to the next. One week they looked like the best team in the division. Next week they looked like they all spent way too much time at the strip club the night before. I see a lot of movement once again. As I mentioned, I see Goats falling. I don't think they'll fall that way out of the playoffs. I think they'll fall and then sort of rediscover themselves in the playoffs. A lot of movement within, but I think it's pretty much set. Although I can see Keyport Lock falling out, I can see Fans of the Cougars falling out, I can see Y.N.W.A Boys falling out. So the bottom three, one of the three will make it.
Okay, fair enough then. Finally, what do you learn on today's episode?
I learned that I don't necessarily need to read your script to be able to be prepared for the show. That being said, I've learned that I can work with you, Mokan. You're very charming, and I like the way your hair is no longer an afro.
Thank you. Appreciate that. We've been working on this for a while. Eagle, what did you learn in today's episode?
I learned today that
Oh, you're not going to type it out?
my schedule is completely messed up, and I haven't followed any of them.
I learned that Eagle shaved today. It looks like, yeah. That's why he's having a bad day. All right, on behalf of PZ, thank you very much. Terrytown will be back in this chair next Thursday.
No, he's done.
He'll be back.
Stick a fork in him.
Come up next, the real, I guess, I don't know who's placed new for Nation Domination.
We're back together.
We'll maybe
The
do a
Rock is
threesome.
returned.
GM is back, yes. Stay tuned for that, and don't forget the Uncle Mike Show not too far away for those who are here at Coast to Coast Studios. Good night, South Korea.